Hi guys, I'm Samena from thecodecottage.com and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are on day 20 of our 30 days of code and we are learning how to build our very own WordPress theme from scratch. So far we have successfully, this is our static website. So successfully so far we have completed the homepage navigation bar and also the logo section. And today we'll be dealing with this aspect right here. So we'll be working on our featured image, featured posts, the featured category section, and we'll be using something called advanced custom fields, which is super cool, and you're gonna love it. But before that, we'll have to make some changes to our website. So let's get started. So this is our static website, but this is our WordPress installation. And so far we are done with the header.php section. Now we want to get into this website right here. And this is essentially the front page of our website. In this front page, we have different sections, different aspects and featurettes, if you will, which take us to different areas of the website. So this takes us to the different categories. This will take us to the subscription box or the newsletter subscription area. This will take us to the actual blog page of our website. This is a little featurette that gives you more information about who the author of the blog is, and we'll also be successfully adding our own Instagram panel here as well. So this is basically the front page, and in order to show the front page, you have to create a new file inside your Orange Marmalade folder, and I will call this, I'll first save that as page dash home dot php. It won't be inside any folder, it'll just be inside Orange Marmalade as an independent file, just like how header footer functions.php is. So this will be called page home.php. I'll save this. And now I'm going to write a code snippet right here. And I'm going to create a comment inside my PHP code block and give it a comment. Actually, template name, and it will be called home page. It's very important to encompass or envelop this inside comments, because you'll see why that is. And now finally, I also wanted to get the header. So get underscore header, and that is our page home.php, which will act as the front page. So I'll head into my local host now. You'll see nothing happens. That's because we still have to work on getting that to act as the front page. So basically, let me just quickly show you. This is our blog posts page. So if I don't do that, if I don't create this page home.php, what will happen is it will start displaying different posts that we have created inside as a blog. So that is usually pulled from this index.php section. I'll tell you why that is. So say I get rid of this. So I remove get sidebar and then I refresh it. The sidebar will be gone. This area will be gone. As you can see, that's gone, which tells us that, get underscore sidebar. I'll just type that out, which tells us that all of this content that you can see here is being pulled from index.php, which also tells us that index.php is the place where you will have to add all of the code for your blog excerpts. But that's not what we want. We don't want our blog excerpts to show the minute the person opens the website or starts the website. We want them to see this one, which is front page. So now what I'll do is I'll head into my actual WordPress installation local website, and then inside my settings and reading. Okay, before I do that, actually, I have to create a page. So I'll create a page. I'll go into all pages, add new, and add a page called home. And now you will see inside this template, we see home page. And this essentially corresponds to this right here, the template that we created. That's why it's very important to follow this format and have it as template name colon homepage. So this happens before the get header section inside a PHP blog. And now I'll select this and publish this. Now when I look at this website, when I visit the site, you'll see that there'll be home right here. Can we visit the site? Yep. We head into settings and reading. And inside reading, this is the latest posts. So this is what I had told you initially, which will be pulled from index.php, We don't want that. We want a static page to be displayed, and that will be the home page, which will be home. This is the page that we have created. The post page will be creating that later on, so you can just leave it the way it is for now. Save changes. And now when you look into the site, now inside page, I'll also get rid of this and be like at the very bottom, get underscore footer. Refresh that. The footer should appear. Now our bare bones front page section is ready. Now all we have to do, as you may have guessed, go into our index.html and go to this hero section right here, copy this and paste this between our section right here. Now obviously this is going to look weird. That's because it's still inside our PHP. So in order to close that, I'll close this and then here I'll start another PHP block, and that's that. Now when I refresh it, should be the same, except now we have this little image appearing, which appears as a broken image simply because, like I said, WordPress will not be able to read the location, because for it there is an img folder, right, but it isn't over here, it isn't present here. Also, we are not going to be using the img folder inside our local installation of WordPress, because when we take this on the server, we cannot give it the folder of img, because the users who are actually accessing your website will not have those images on their computer. So we are going to replace this with a featured image. So let's do that. First of all, we will head into our functions.php. Whenever you want to make these kind of big changes, like how we added this sidebar section here and how we added a custom menu here, this is all the work that is done by functions.php. So I'll head into functions.php, and very slowly when you look at this, you have add theme support, post thumbnails. So post thumbnails is essentially what we call as featured images. So what I'll do is now, within that, I'll just say add underscore image underscore size. And now I'll give it a name. So I'll say featured post. Then I have to pass two arguments, actually three. So two of those will be sizes. So here I want it to be 1200 by 500, and then the next argument is either true or false. So true will essentially crop that image. So if your image is really huge, it will crop it to this dimension, and if it's false, if it's set to false, then it won't crop the image, it will only take the first half of whatever that image is. So I always find that true works much nicer for me. The choice is yours, obviously, but I prefer using true. So I've added the post size, featured post. That's my featured thumbnail name, which I'll be using over here. I'll head back to page home, and here what I'll do is, so we're going to leave this as is, right? Firstly, now before we make any dynamic changes to this, we'll have to download two plugins. So let's head into our backend and download those two plugins. So firstly, we are going to download advanced custom fields. So I'll just type that. I will install that, and once it is installed, I'll also activate it. So it's installed, great, I'll activate that. Perfect. And now I'll also add another plugin, and that will be called custom post type UI. That's the one that we'll be using. I'll install that. And once again, once it's installed, I will activate it. There you go. So we've downloaded custom post type, but we won't be needing it right this moment. Right this moment, we are going to just add this featured image first. So what I'll do is I will pick up right here. So I will say PHP, the post thumbnail, and inside the bracket I will call the featured image that we created, so feature post. Now I'll save that. I'll refresh it, nothing will happen because we haven't actually oh, this is the static theme. Whoops, silly me. I'll go here and you'll see nothing will happen because now there's no featured image to this. So I'll go to my dashboard and I'll head into my pages, all pages, and I'll select the home page and I'll set the featured image here, right? I'll upload a file. It'll just be any image that I want, and you don't even have to worry too much about the actual size or dimension of the image. It'll adjust accordingly. So I'll just pick one of this, perhaps open it and save that as my featured image. Now, once I've updated this, and when I go in, you will be happy to see that a featured image has been set, perhaps really pretty. And this is what I meant about it being true. It takes most of the image in and it crops it to the size. Now, obviously, 1200 feels like it could be, say, 1280. So, what I'll do is I'll head into my functions and I'll make it 1280 by 500. I'll refresh that and you may not see any change. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head into my dashboard and install another plugin which is called regenerate regenerate thumbnails. So that's the one that we need by Alex Mills. So I'll install that and then I will also activate it. So what it does is it kind of resizes all of the thumbnails that we have uploaded onto our website, just makes it much simpler to access really. So that's that, and I'll head into tools, regenerate thumbnails, and then I'll regenerate that thumbnail. Go. And once it's complete, I'll head back into my site and you'll see that it takes up all of that space. So every time you include a new thumbnail into your website, it's always advisable that you use the regenerate thumbnail feature. Now, obviously, the sizing here has gone a little haywire, but there's nothing to worry about it. We'll work on this. And just to stay semantic, I will use this image instead of this diary and leaf image. So I'll head back into my I'll go to library and firstly I'll upload that new image before I set it as. So I'll just see which image that was. Let's see. Can't seem to find it. Seems like it's this one, but I think there you go. That's the one, hero image. I will remove this featured image and set that other one as the featured image. Yep, that looks brilliant because this is exactly the image that we have used here. So that's our featured image done. Now the next thing that we want to do is obviously work on this because it's not going to be lorem ipsum dollar or whatever. We want it to be more dynamic. Now this is where our advanced custom fields will come into play. So the first thing I want to do is head back into my page home and I'll tell you the areas that we want to change. We want this text right here to be dynamic. We want this link to be dynamic and we want this read more button to be dynamic. So basically we are going to create three parameters inside our advanced custom field. So let me just take you through that now. So I'll go into my custom fields and field groups and here I will create a new group and I'll call it featured post or featured just post because it's just one featured post. Now inside that I'll add three fields. So these are the three fields. One will be the content for the featured post, one will be the featured post link and the featured post button. So featured post content, and now once I add the field label, it will automatically generate the field name, and that's the name that's very important that we need to take note of, but more on that later. It'll be a text field. You don't want to add too much text. You just want to add maybe the title of your post or a couple of words only. You don't want to write an entire paragraph, so I will not be choosing text area. I'll be choosing text. Instructions, write a title, include a title of a post, include the post title of the blog post you wish to feature. All right, it is definitely required, and here I will just, that's it, I'll close this field. All right, and then I'll add a new field, and here I'll call it featured post link. So that is what will be displayed here instead of this hashtag. And this will be, obviously the name is generated by itself, and here in the basic section we'll be choosing URL, and instructions will be enter the link to the featured post. Required absolutely, and that's it. I'll close the field. And finally then I'll add the final field, which will be called featured post button. So that will be the text that goes on the button. So text, and here I'll be writing type the text you wish for the button to have. Example, read more. Required, definitely required. I'll close this field, and now comes this part. So the post type is equal to page. No. What we want to do is we want the page type to be front page. Okay, so this is what this we want this to show up in the front page, right? So that's what it's going to be. Page type is equal to the front page, and now when I publish this and then I head to my home page, where's my pages? Right here. So when I go into my home page now, you will see that a separate section has been created right here, which is called featured post, right here. And that contains everything that we want to add over here. So let's do that. So first I will write here how to make a delicious chocolate cake from scratch. The featured link will be, I'm linking here to my food blog. Okay, and here I will say read more. All right, so I'll just save this now or update it. But now once I've updated this, I head back into my website, and you'll be like, whoa, why is this not changing? That's because we have definitely included this in our WordPress backend inside our front page, but WordPress doesn't know that it has to pick it up. So we haven't included anything like that in our code here. So WordPress won't know what to add. For that, it's just something that has been added to it, but it still hasn't received the instruction that you have to show that content. You have to show this particular content. I'll just quickly show you. It doesn't understand that it has to showcase this over here. So for it to happen, what I'll do is, firstly, before my get header, I'll create a comment called advanced custom field codes. All right, and within that, I'll create a featured post codes. Okay, so this section now will contain all of our advanced custom fields code. So let's head back into our custom fields, field groups, and into a featured post. Now, like I said, the name is something we had to be careful about. So what we'll do is I'll copy this firstly. All right. I usually like to, I'll just show dollar, paste that featured post content equals get underscore field. And in my bracket inside this, I'll post that again. So what I like to do is I like to give it the same variable as the actual name of the post. It just helps keep everything semantic so there's no confusion at all. I'll do the same for featured link and featured button. So dollar, paste that, equals get underscore field, and that way. And the final one will be the dollar has to be there. So dollar, that's the variable that we have created. And for that, it gets the field of. So what this does is, this is a variable and the value of that variable is get field featured post content. So what it does, it heads into featured post content and it selects whatever we have written inside our featured post content, which is right here. Right here. So what it does, it goes into the featured post content, get field featured post content. So inside this field, it finds the content and then it will display it right here. So I'll just open another localhost copy just so we know the front end. Now we have to call this over here. We have to make that dynamic. Right here is where we are going to enter what we want for it to show. So now this is where we have to call those dynamic codes. So what I'll do is PHP, and inside that code block I will echo, and we'll just include the variable that needs to be echoed, right? So echo, I'll call this one right here, copy that and paste it here, and my semicolon. So now what it will do is it will look at this variable from here, then it will search for a variable in our web page, which is right here, and it knows that this is equal to this. Then it goes into WordPress, it finds that field of featured post content. So it finds this field and it looks at the content that is corresponding to that field, which is right here. So exciting, isn't it? This is how you can completely change the game, make it super dynamic. And the same thing applies for the href as well. So we'll link it again with the same PHP block, echo, and we'll echo this link right here and close it with the semicolon. And inside this read more, the read more, again, that text is going to be dynamic. So to make it dynamic, again the PHP block, and inside that I'll take this dollar feature button and I'll do that. So now I've saved my, now as you can see, the code has changed quite a bit. There is nothing static here anymore. No content will be static. Everything has been replaced with dynamic PHP WordPress calls. I've saved this, and now when I refresh this lorem ipsum and all of this will be replaced by how to make a delicious chocolate cake from scratch. Now, clearly, there's something that has gone off over here, and that's probably because, refresh it. Well, yeah, so the best way to figure out why that happens is just by inspecting the element, and we'll see that the href has definitely been taken and how to make a delicious cake, the code cottage. But for some reason, the button text does not seem to show up. So we can't see the name of that button. The link happens, but the text for that button isn't showing. So let's just see why that is. Featured post button. Okay, that is because we did not echo it over here. So once I type the echo and refresh it, it should be fine. There you go, it's here. And this section is done. Now let's just bring this to the bottom a little. So that's the hero container, the hero title, and that position is absolute, but from the top it is 120 pixels. Let's just bring it to the bottom just so we can move on to the next section then. I'll just make it say 200 pixels. I think that looks good, so I'll leave it at 200. That looks nice. So I'll head into my custom.css first, hero section, and right here, and here I'll make it 200 pixels instead. So now our front page section is done and it looks stunning, doesn't it? So how excited are you? We are very close to finishing this. So this is done, and now just because it was pretty heavy in terms of the content, I feel like we should stop right here. But what we'll also do, just to make up for and to make sure we finish it in 30 days, which we will obviously, it's not that time consuming anymore. This section for the Instagram, let's work on that. So what I'll do first is head into my plugins and add a new plugin. Smash Balloon. Oops, I've spelled it wrong. Smash Balloon is the plugin and it will show up the Instagram feed option. That's the one that we want, social photo feed. And once it installs, we'll activate that. Obviously, while that's happening, I'll quickly head into my static site and grab this Instagram feed section right here. And here again, inside my page home, just before the footer, I'll paste that here. I'll save this, refresh this here, and you'll see that this the code cottage section shows up. Now what we'll do is inside that row is where we'll be adding our Instagram feed, but if you have already guessed, it will need a container to fit that Instagram feed in, just like we needed a container to fit all our social media icons in. So, what we'll have to do first is create a little section right here that is basically a sidebar. So, let's head into our functions.php, and inside our register sidebar area, I'll copy that section, paste it here, and here I'll say Instagram feed, all right, and give it an ID of sidebar 3. And here I'll say add the short code from the Smash Balloon plugin. Okay, and here I'll say Instagram or IG feed and give it a class of IG feed as well. Save that, and when I head into the backend, hopefully this will have installed, and now I'll activate that. So now that's activated as well. And alternately, also, I'll head into my widgets and you'll see an Instagram feed section appear here, which is perfect. Now, what we will do is add custom HTML to that right here. Brilliant. And yeah, so now what I'll do is head into Smash Balloon. Oops, not settings. I will go into Instagram feed. That's what it's called. So click on Instagram feed, and all you have to do is connect your Instagram account. So mine is personal. I'm going to connect this now. So mine is the Cupcake Confession, which is my baking account, which I always use because I have amazing photos there that I've taken. So that's my Instagram. So my business account is now connected. Now here I'll make a few changes. Obviously, I'll save this change first. All right, and then here as well I will head into customize because I want there to be certain I want there to be 6 photos showing in a column of 6. So every photo has its own column. Save the changes, and I will also get rid of the header. I don't want any of this to show. I literally only want the images. There you go. Perfect. Yep. Leave the backup cache. Don't do anything to that. I'll save the changes. Now, obviously, we want that to display. So, display your feed. It will display a shortcode which is called Instagram feed. I'll copy that. Obviously, I'll head back over here. My sidebar has been created. So, firstly, I'll just go here into my widgets, custom HTML, play that, and save it, of course. So, I've saved it, but it won't show. It won't show because we need to call that thing over here. We need to call that sidebar here. So to call that, we obviously by now you must know PHP dynamic underscore sidebar, and in my comma inverted commas I'll say sidebar 3. So when I save this now, it should pull it up. There you go. We have our Instagram feed showing. Now, obviously, this is not the Code Cottage. This is from the Cupcake Confession. And when the user heads into the website to post their Instagram feed, they would like for their username to appear instead, and it shouldn't be static. So by now, you may have guessed we will have to use advanced custom fields for this. So we'll head into advanced custom fields, and I also want it to be clickable. So when they click on this, it will take it to their Instagram account. So there are two field groups. So there'll be one field group called Instagram feed that we'll have to create. And that Instagram feed will have two fields called the text and the link. So I'll close this. I'll head into the backend here. And I will then also go straight to custom fields, field groups, and add a new field. This will be the Instagram field. Just add that field. And inside that field, I'll add Instagram title. It'll automatically create that. That will be the text. So type the name of your Instagram handle, and required, absolutely, close the field, add a new field, and the field label now here will be Instagram link, right? So that takes us to Instagram link. This will be the URL that will be clickable. Enter the link to your Instagram account. Perfect. Required, absolutely. I'll close this field. I'll also just edit this field because I apparently did Instagram dash title and I want it to have Instagram underscore title just for semantic purposes. I'll close that. And now our Instagram section is ready, but I want the page type to be the front page because I want this to show up on the front page. So I'll publish this. And once I have done that, I'll head into visit site. Not actually visit site, I need to head into my actual page there. So that's page, all pages, and home page. And here I have, so it'll be the cupcake or maybe at the Cupcake Confession. Obviously, that will change. It will be whatever the name of your Instagram account is, and the link will be the cupcakeconfession.com. I'll save that, update it. Obviously, it's not going to show up because we will have to call that inside our code. So this is not clickable as of yet, and it's still showing the code cottage. So to make that change, what I'll do is, firstly, I'll create an ahref a tag right here, and inside this, obviously, before I even get to that, I will head into my advanced custom fields and copy those two codes. So inside my Instagram field group, I'll head there, copy the title over here. I'll have the comment, Instagram field, Instagram account. Yep. So dollar that way. Oops. Okay. No. Copy this right here. Paste that. Equals get underscore field like so, and then Instagram link equals get underscore field, and that will be Instagram link. Now we can include that over here. So in the href, obviously, it will be PHP. Close that, echo, and we want the link to echo. So we'll use this variable right here, semicolon, and in the text right here, I'll get rid of that and I'll copy this first, the title, and here again I'll write my PHP blog. Ito, that way. So now it's again dynamic. So it'll take the link to that dynamic link that we have set in our WordPress, and it will also take the title that we have set, which is the Cupcake Confession. So let's refresh that and see what happens. There you go. It's totally clickable now and it takes you to the blog. So basically, our two sections are done today. We have success. It was quite a long video, but it was important to help you break into this whole advanced custom fields aspect of the website, which makes it so easy to customize your website to your liking and make it super dynamic. It gives the blogger the complete freedom to change the text without having to fiddle around with the actual code in the backend, which can be really scary, especially if they are not familiar with PHP and other aspects of the website. So this gives them a lot of freedom to make the changes. So we have successfully finished this part and the code cottage section right here. Now what we'll do tomorrow is work on the categories and from the blog section, because they are both very similar and they use very similar things, and it'll be fun. Let's do that tomorrow, and I will see you again tomorrow for day 21. If you like this video and you are finding it helpful and informative, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. Also, give this video a big like. Post your feedback and suggestions in the comments below. I really hope you're enjoying this, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, goodbye and happy coding.